What's up, everyone? Welcome to another exciting Art of War review. We are here. It is time. Games Workshop has given us a copy of the Space Marine Codex. The brand new Codex Astartes is here. The second book of 10th edition. Not the first for once. Kind of nice. And we've got a lot to say about all the contents that we're going to find inside.
Yes, it is a hefty tome.
Yeah, this guy is thick. God, I wish I'd brought the Tyranny Codex out here to compare the size. This is a large book. It's Space Marines. We all knew it was going to be.
I have a big head, okay? And it still makes my head look like nothing.
Absolutely. It is nothing compared to the glory of the Codex Astartes.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, yeah, we're gonna go through the entire Space Marine Codex. This is super exciting. I love Space Marines. Jack, I've heard that you have occasionally dabbled with a Space Marine chapter.
What?
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 Or
I've occasionally dabbled. I think we've played our share of power armor.
We do both like our power armor.
Yeah, we're a big fan.
I was trying to set you up to show the Blood Angel tattoo, but whatever.
Yeah, sorry. No, I moved past my
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
All right. So, really exciting stuff here. So, let's talk about what's actually in this codex. It's everything you'd expect from a codex. It starts off with the fluff. It tells you about Space Marines. Then it shows you the fancy models, more stuff about Space Marines. It gives you a little combat patrol section, shows you a little bit of some tips about what to do, and then it gets into the rules. But I think before we get into the rules, we should tell people a little bit more about what they're watching here. So, if maybe this is your first time joining us here at Art of War, we're Art of War. Make sure that you like this video and leave a comment below. Let us know about what you think about this this video and this book. And of course, if you subscribe, you'll be notified every time we go live. Trust me, there's a lot of Space Marine content coming. This is just the first drop of a tidal wave. I'm very excited to play games with this book. We're going to have a lot more content about it. We're going to be building lists, fixing lists. I'm even going to have to paint some more Space Marines. You know how it is. So, if you're as excited about Space Marines as we are, or about Warhammer 40,000, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, click all the buttons. It helps us make videos like this.
Yep, helps keep us going.
As well, if you want even more high-quality, premium Space Marine goodness, well, you should check out The Worm. Right in the link in the description below, theworm.vhx.tv, you can get a free 3-day trial to the Art of War Worm. Gets you into the Discord as well. You can see what we're all about, see how awesome the Worm is.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you ready to kick this off?
Absolutely. I'm very excited by this book.
All right.
This
So
book is...
we've got to start off with the what is it? The fly in the ointment?
The
elephant in the room.
The thing no Marine player is happy about. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. There's various levels of sad, but no Space Marine players I think I'm happy that they did this. Oath of Moment. This isn't really this one got spoiled a little bit ago by Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Oath of Moment is different now.
Yeah, let's call it a side grade.
I didn't say that. I said it was different.
Yeah, it's
worse.
They definitely removed a part of it. So it used to be you pick a target every turn and you reroll hits and wounds against it. And it's very good. It was very good. Very good. It is now reroll hits, and that's just not the same.
It's not quite the same.
No, it is. One would call it half as good.
You could call it half as good, but frankly, if we're comparing halves, they might have removed the better half.
Yeah, I would much rather reroll wounds than reroll hits.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So, really big change here. This is going to color everything about the book, if I'm being honest.
Yes, and it's going to color everything about all of the supplements that are out there already.
Absolutely true.
So, Templars, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, and Death Watch all hate that change, to be honest with you.
They're all going to feel that. We'll have some videos in the Worm kind of talking about how those armies are going to be, adjusting to this.
Yes.
But for now, suffice to say, Oath is here to stay. This is the version of Oath we have. Until GW sees fit to change anything, this is what we got. So, we're going to kind of keep that in mind, because some things gain stock, some things lose stock, based on exactly this change.
Yes, and it is by far the biggest change in the book.
Yeah,
I would say it's a bigger change
huge.
than adding the other 5 detachments.
Yeah, honestly. The other 6, I know you forgot the same one that I have. There's 7 detachments.
There's 7 in this book.
7
I assume there were 6.
Yeah, Tyranids got more than got 6. Space Marines get 7. That's how it be. All right, well, tell you what. Let's crack into the first attachment, shall we?
Let's crack into the first
attachment. All right,
attachment.
let's crack in. So,
all right, Gladius Task Force. If you are familiar with the previous one, the only change is that they changed the name of Bolter Discipline to Fire Discipline.
That's fair.
Because they realized You didn't have to do it with bolters.
Maybe the Death Watch supplement will give me Kraken Fire instead of Kraken Rounds, then I get to use it again.
Yeah. Something tells me you are going to be out of luck on that one.
Yeah, so the Gladius Task Force, we're going to go through it still because, well, you may be watching this and not have been here for the index, because hopefully this is an evergreen review. But we're probably not going to give quite as much insight on the Gladius as we would other things, because, frankly, it's the one that we all know about.
Yes, it's the one we've been playing with as Space Marines for the last several months.
Yep.
So it has already been going over. Everything is rules-wise exactly the same, so let's go over it. So you get combat doctrines as your detachment rule, and they are very good. You have 3 different doctrines. You can call them at the start of any of your turns, right, in your command phase. And it applies to every unit in your army.
Good.
If you pick Devastator, and you can use each one once. If you pick Devastator Doctrine, your army can advance and shoot.
Solid.
If you pick Tactical Doctrine, your army can fall back, shoot, and charge.
Love that.
If you pick Assault Doctrine, your army is able to advance and charge.
Fantastic. These are 3 great rules.
Those are amazing rules. They all benefit mobility, and they benefit you being mobile and applying damage afterwards, which is exactly what you want to be doing.
Exactly what you want.
The ability to fall back and charge/shoot, the ability, which means you are impossible to tie up.
Yeah.
And then advance and charge and advance and shoot are very good. Then we have the enhancements. We've got Artificer Armor, which gives the bearer a 2-up save and Feel No Pain 5+.
Just a solid, cheap defensive upgrade.
It's aight.
Yep.
We got the Honor Vehement, which gives the bearer +1 attack and strength, and while they're in Assault Doctrine, they get +2 attacks and strength.
Again, quite solid.
Adept of the Codex on a Captain, which unfortunately Captain's lost a bit of stock recently.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. The start of your command phase, if the bearer's on the battlefield, instead of picking a combat doctrine to be active, if you pick the Tactical Doctrine, you can select the Tactical Doctrine. If you do, then it's active for the bearer's unit, even if you already selected that combat doctrine to be active for your army in this battle. Okay. So you could basically, whenever you don't pick Devastator or Assault, you can just have the unit being tactical.
Yep. Real simple.
It's pretty good, especially comboed with Squad Tactics.
Yes.
To move. Then we have Fire Discipline, which was Bolter Discipline, but
it's now Fire Discipline.
Totally
different.
I guess they thought that people would use it on Bolters, and they're like, oh, damn, I guess they didn't. That's weird.
Yeah, strange.
People are using it on Hellblasters, people are using it on Aggressors, people are using it on Desolators with missiles, and they're like, all right, it's time to call it Fire Discipline. While the bear's leading a unit, ranged weapons get sustained 1, and while it's under the effects of Dev Doctrine, they get criticals on 5s. That is an incredible enhancement. It is defining for the Gladius. Yeah.
Keeping reroll hits is really nice still for Fire Discipline.
It is. The aggressors really would prefer if you kept reroll wounds as well, but they definitely like
both. But I'd actually rather have reroll hits than reroll wounds there to get that lethal and sustained.
On them, for sure.
On them.
You want to read out the...
So we've got 6 stratagems here. The first one is the one that we're never going to say again.
No, we're just going to say...
1 CP Armor of Contempt. It's battle tactic. It is in every detachment. It is identical in each one. It is exactly what you thought before, which is that 1 CP in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase.
The fight phase.
When you get hit by a thing, spend a command point, and one of your units gets -1 to incoming AP.
That is very good.
It means every detachment has at least 1 good battle tactic.
Yep. It is very good. It's one of the better strats in the game, in my opinion, in terms of just being able to hammer that button as many times as you want.
Yep.
Once per, phase, but being able to just go, I have a 2-up armor save in cover, Armor of Contempt is very strong in 10th edition, and every single Marine chapter, supplement, whatever, gets access to it. Something to note here is that while these detachments are themed after the different armies, for example, the Gladius is themed after Ultramarines, any army can use them.
Yes.
So, for example, if I wanted my Black Templars to use the Gladius Strike Force rules, totally fine.
Yep.
If I wanted Vulcan Hastan to be in the Gladius Task Force, totally fine.
Yes.
They are just rules. They are themed after a chapter, but you can say, hey, this is like the tactical core of my Blood Angels, right?
Absolutely.
So it's very flexible.
Maybe these are my Salamander Bikers feel like being in a Stormlance detachment. Who could say?
Exactly.
So 5 more stratagems here. 2 CP, only in death does duty end. It's a fight on death. It's great. It's awesome. I love to have access to that. Doesn't always come up, but it's just nice to have.
It's good to have. Especially if you get in a melee off. Melee army runs at you, you're like, I kill you in my turn, and then I kill you in your turn. And
great.
Yeah.
1 CP, Honor the Chapter. This gives all of your melee weapons lance, and if you're an Assault Doctrine, also +1 AP.
The favorite of Deathwing Knights, who are straight 6 AP1.
Love this for everyone who could possibly. Just a great melee buff.
It's very good.
Then, Adaptive Strategy. This is a 1 CP in the command phase. Pick a unit, put it in a doctrine. High five. Great.
Yep.
The doctrines that you have for Gladius are fantastic. Sometimes you want them on the army. Sometimes you want them on specifically that dude needs to advance in charge. Specifically that dude needs to be in Dev Doctrine to make Fire Discipline work. So having an ability to just put them in, it's great.
You have 1 CP, advance and charge, or advance and shoot, or fallback shoot and charge is an amazing stratagem.
Yeah.
Not a battle tech. I don't think very many of these are.
3 of them are.
3 of them are. Never mind.
Armor of Contempt, Honor the Chapter, and Storm of Fire.
Those are very good.
Speaking of...
to have as battle tactics.
Storm of Fire. Pretty good. Storm of Fire is the one where when you shoot at an opponent, you spend a command point, you ignore cover. Solid. Good strat. But if you're in Devastator Doctrine, let's also slap +1 AP on that.
Yeah, Storm of Fire is very, very good. Storm of Fire plus Bolter Discipline, or Fire Discipline now.
Plus Adaptive Strategy to be in Dev Doctrine, Peanut Butter, and Jelly.
And your opponent is going to be Jelly after you
Peanut Butter and your opponent's Jelly as they pick up their dead models.
Yes.
And the final one to mention here is Squad Tactics. This is in your opponent's movement phase when they get within 9 inches of an infantry or mounted unit. Just spend a CP, and you can make a D6-inch normal move, or... if you're in Tactical Doctrine, a 6-inch normal move.
If you're in Tactical Doctrine, this is brutal. If you're not, it is still pretty damn good. It's just a very good strat.
Sometimes it doesn't actually come up that often, but a lot of times people have to plan around it. Because if you run up to a unit thinking, oh, it won't move, and then it does move, you are in trouble.
Even if sometimes just an inch. You know?
It all matters. So that's the Gladius. The Gladius is fantastic. There was a real problem in the indexes where I think that the Gladius was just out-competing other Space Marine detachments, and certain chapters, such as Space Wolves most notoriously, didn't bother taking their detachment because the Gladius was right there. So, I think the Gladius is going to kind of be the comparison for a lot of these attachments. We've got 6 more to go. We're going to take a lot more time on all of those because, well, they're actually new.
Yes.
And so I'm very curious to kind of see how all of these compare to what has so far been the best Space Marine detachment.
The Gladius is a compilation of some of the most useful rules in 40k.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say, like, the best, right? Because those tend to be on the broken side. It is a complete compendium of just every useful utility thing you can possibly want.
Makes sense for
with some damage.
Makes sense for
If you want to do damage in combat, there's a really good strat for that. If you want to do damage in shooting, there's a really good strat for that. If you want to have flexibility with your army, you want to have a 1 unit do basically whatever you want, there's a strat for that. You can be tough, you can fight on death, and you can move, like you get extra mobility. It's just the complete utility package with a little damage stapled on in shooting and combat. It is a very, very good detachment, and it was the first one they showed us.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, coming up next, we have the Anvil Siege Force. This is, I promise, totally not Imperial Fists.
Well, it has Imperial
Anyone
Fists.
can take it.
On the picture, there's
Imperial
Imperial
it does
Fists
have
right
Imperial
there.
Fists on the picture. Well, fair enough. Maybe it is almost Imperial Fists. But
anyone
can take it.
It is very prettily laid out.
Yeah, I do like that they put the... I like that you can just open it. These are all your detachment rules if you want to leave the book open. I like that they put the guiding picture of who is supposed to be each detachment. So if you're a fluffy White Scar player, they're telling you who to take, but you could take anyone.
Yes. All right. Anvil Siege Force, themed after the Imperial Fists, but anybody can take it. If you have a special like siege breaker company or something like that, why not? All right, so they've got Shield of the Imperium. Ranged weapons get heavy. Just all ranged weapons in the army have heavy.
Solid.
Which means if they stand still, they get +1 to hit.
Okay.
If such a weapon already has this ability, each time an attack is made with that model, if the attacking model's unit remains stationary, add 1 to the wound roll. So whirlwinds exist.
There are several things I love this. Desolators, like, unironically love this.
Yeah, even the 200.5 model Desolators.
I really would pay 200 points for 5 Desolators this attachment. I really would.
Oh, God, they get +1 to wound.
No, they're not heavy. You should have 2s now.
I think, yeah, no, that's
just do that.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. In the book, Don't Want to Bury the Lead, Desolators are their old points cost. Yeah. No, they're not. They won't be.
We all know where this is going.
No.
So, okay, so +1 to hit for anyone who holds stationary really reinforces that stationary playstyle, which makes sense for Imperial Fists. I think that Space Marines don't want to be adopting that playstyle, but the units that have heavy and can now hold still for +1 to wound, that's really good.
Yeah.
I think this is really good for the units that have heavy. I don't think that just getting heavy is enough, because +1 to wound is great when you get it.
I think anything that wants to stand still, there's not that much, right? Mm-hmm. In 40k, especially at like the top end of 40k, you can't just stand still to do damage.
Usually not. Unless you're indirect.
So things like indirect is what we're looking at here, because they can stand still and just shoot you. They don't have to move.
That's pretty good.
But a lot of the time, if you just stand still with like a unit of Hellblasters, your opponent is not going to walk right into their line of sight, or they're going to walk into line of sight and charge you or shoot you or something.
Just rapid ingress the Hellblasters in and hold
and then just stand still?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
That would, strictly speaking, work.
As long as they don't do anything else on their turn about it.
Yeah, just get your Hellblasters really popping off. Yeah. So let's go over the enhancements here.
Let's go over the enhancements. Indomitable Fury, Gravis model only. First time the bear is destroyed, roll a d6 at the end of the phase. On a 2+, set the bear back up with its full wounds remaining.
Full wounds remaining is quite nice. Gravis captains are very thick. This is cool.
There's also the Lone Op Lieutenant, who is really annoying to kill, and then when you get in range of him, he's just like, "Oh, I stand back up. Sorry, sorry, fam."
Yeah, that guy's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So Anvil Siege Force. They don't have it in the right order, but that one is 20 points. Probably
hard to imagine.
Oh, it's Gravis only.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. I don't think there's really anyone who wants that.
Unlikely. I mean, you probably are going to take the middle. So let's look at the other ones here.
Fleet Commander. Once per battle. Captain only. Once per battle at the start of your shooting phase. Pick a point on the battlefield. Place a marker there. At the start of your next shooting phase, place another marker on the battlefield within 12 inches of the center of the first marker and draw a line between the two. Roll 1d6 for each unit that line passes over or through. On a 3+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Both markers are then removed. Mm-hmm. So you put a point down, and then you put the second point down the turn later, and that line hits everybody. They're trying to split the difference between calling the bombardment down a turn prior, which they tried at the beginning of 9th edition. It was god-awful every single time.
And then 8th edition, where you just picked it immediately.
Where you just picked it and dropped it, and it was ranged from ite to pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think this is very good.
No. It has too much of the call it a turn ahead of time on it, and it doesn't do enough damage.
Yeah. Stoic Defender.
Stoic Defender. Any Space Marine model.
I like that.
While the bear is leading a unit, character, obviously. Models in that unit have the Feel No Pain 6+, while they're in range of an objective marker you control. And while that unit is battle shocked, have their OC instead of changing it to 0.
Getting just a 6-up Feel No Pain onto a unit is actually really nice.
It's not bad. Yeah, especially on 3-wound models.
Yeah, I'm thinking
like
of
Blade Guard here. Terminators.
The units that aren't going to benefit from the heavy weapon part of this at least can be stubbornly thick on an objective, and that is appealing.
Stoically defending it.
Stubbornly thick.
Yes. Architect of War. Mm-hmm. This one is quite good. While the bear is leading a unit, ranged weapons ignores cover.
Clean and simple. Ignore cover.
That is very good.
That is very good.
That's very good.
I would love that on an aggressor unit.
Yes.
Just have it all the time.
Just EP1 against the closest target.
Yep.
Ignores cover.
Call it a day. Easy.
Yes.
Don't have to spend any resources beyond the enhancement. Done.
Okay. So we've got Armor of Contempt.
It's the same.
It's the same, exactly. Rigid Discipline. End of the fight phase. One unit from your army within engage range of one or more enemy units can immediately make a fallback move of up to 6 inches. Mm-hmm. When making that move, your unit must end that move either wholly within your deployment zone or within range of an objective marker.
Very interesting timing on that.
Yes. End of the fight phase, you can fall back. This is pretty good. It's a little harder to use because you have to end up either wholly within your deployment zone or within range of an objective marker.
I like that part. And it's the fight phase, so it could be yours or your opponent's.
Yeah, you can charge them. You can charge some nonsense into some other nonsense and then fall back forward to get on an objective.
Yep. In order to do contest play, that's cool.
Yep.
Or your opponent is charging onto your objective. You don't have enough dudes on it. End of the fight phase, let's fall back, put some more models on the objective, and also not be in combat.
Yeah. Or they charge you and you want to shoot with that unit, right? They tag a unit and then the unit just leaves and then just shoots.
Yeah, so it's like a 1 CP preemptive fallback shoot and charge that occasionally has objective play, but also can only be done near objectives.
Or in your deployment zone. It's
deployment
weird.
Zone.
I think it's good.
I think it is actually
I think it is quite good.
I think I would end up using that a lot actually on the table because this book does not have, this detachment doesn't have a lot of fallback and do stuff.
Yes. And if you're tagged in combat, you're like, oh no, my Hellblasters don't. Anyway, we're out of combat shooting.
Yeah, they tag you. You fall back now. In your turn, hold still, get heavy +1 to wound, point at them.
So what this means is when you are moving your units, you need to just make sure one model in the unit is within 6 inches of an objective.
Yeah.
So that you can fall back and get away.
Yeah, just go like wrap a rhino, then your opponent's turn fall back and say, sweet, I'm going to hold still and now heavy +1 to wound.
Yes.
Whap.
Yes. Any movement on your opponent's turn too is very good because, as you said, you can just stand still and go. Brah!
Yeah, that's actually quite good.
Yep, I like that. I think, as you said, that's going to be more useful on the tabletop than it even seems like. Mm-hmm. I think it's just going to come up like, oh, every turn you're like, I would like to do that now. Mm-hmm. Not one backwards step.
Not two. Not one.
You can take 2 backwards steps.
Oh, just not one.
Just not one. My bad. In your command phase, 1 infantry unit in range of an objective marker gets to double the OC characteristic of the unit, but it has to remain stationary.
That is weird.
It's very weird. Now, troops are going to be almost impossible to take objectives from with this.
Yes.
Going to OC4 is nonsense.
Yeah, just fall back in the fight phase. Why fall back in the movement phase when you can fall back in the fight phase? Yeah. That if your army's trying to remain stationary anyways, this limit's not actually that bad. And then double OC is cool, but also ideally hope doesn't come up that often because you've hopefully held your objective.
But also what'll happen a decent amount of the time is your opponent is going to go for a contest or a play where they take your objective. And you just go, by the way, I can just change this from 10 OC to 20 OC. Are you sure you want to do this? And they'll be like, oh man, am I sure I want to do this? And then they don't do it, and you don't have to pop the strat. You don't have to remain stationary. You don't have to do anything.
So, just to be clear, we're at the point where 4 intercessors out OC and Norn Emissary?
Yes.
That's funny.
Norn Emissary charges, Armor Contempt, you only lose 1 guy, let's say, and then not 1 backward step, and the objective's yours.
Bink! Love that. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. You can even, bounce out of combat, do it, and then until the end of your turn, so you can't take it away from your opponent. You only defend your objectives. You don't steal objectives. Yeah. You're not one of those.
Not 1 backward step, but not
no forward steps either. Yeah. So that's interesting, and I think it's very useful. But again, it's a little weird.
It's a little niche. It's a little niche.
A little on the weird side.
Okay.
No threat too great.
2 CP.
2 CP in your shooting phase. One of your units has not been selected to shoot. You can reroll wounds every time they target a monster or a vehicle.
Boy, they are giving us more ways to reroll wounds, and they're making us pay for it.
Yeah, they took away the reroll wounds, and they're selling it back to us.
Do you mind if I ask what kind of stratagem that is?
It is a battle tactic.
That makes me a lot better. I like that a lot more. As a battle tactic, I like that. Making that free reroll wounds against a vehicle is a big deal.
Yes, that is quite nice. If that was not a battle tactic, a lot of these, they also have 3 battle tactics.
Okay.
That's pretty good as a battle tactic. That's pretty good as a battle tactic. Because the reason we're harping on about battle tactics, if you're not familiar, is GW released rules that say that you only can make strats free and use them again if you have, if they're a battle tactic.
Yep.
So
that's quite good. 2 CP is expensive, but 2 CP do it twice because it's do it once and then do it again on the captain unit or the unit near Guilliman or whatever you are taking. That could be worth it.
Rerolling wounds on monsters and vehicles is pretty damn nice, especially if, let's say, you're heavy, so you get +1 to hit. If you stood still, +1 to wound, and then reroll wounds.
Bad.
It's not bad. It's a little expensive.
Eradicators can do it for free. Is it infantry? Is it anyone?
Any unit from your army that
so you can do it on a Gladiator Valiant that is just packing multi-meltas and stuff.
Out the wazoo, yes.
You could do it on a Legendary Redeemer. Okay, so
Black Templar's Gladiator Valiant with 3 multi-meltas and a Las Talon.
They're Imperial for successors. Put them in there.
Yeah, bingo. No threat too great. Zap. It's not bad. I do
miss Oath, but that is a good tool to have.
I hate that you can't you can't have a captain hop inside the Valiant.
Yeah, real pity there. You just have to have Guilliman tell him to do it, which means it's not a Black Templar one.
Sag. Yeah. Whoops.
Okay. On to the next.
All right. Battle Drill Recall. 1 CP, battle tactic. In your shooting phase, 1 unit from your army has not been selected to shoot. Ranged weapons get sustained hits 1, and if they stood still, they get criticals on 5s.
Now that's why I like a 5-man Desolator.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And it's not infantry only, right? It's anybody.
Any unit.
See, again, to me, that's screaming like Whirlwind right there. It's screaming 2 Whirlwinds. One of them next to Goleman. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's a lot of gun.
That's a lot of gun.
That's a lot.
They hit on 3s with sustained hits 1.
Yeah. Now I will point out that if you can get a lieutenant or a pharmacist into this unit, and then they're getting critical hits on 5s with lethal hits, that's pretty good.
Yes.
That's like it's just bolter discipline for 1 CP. It's full bolter discipline for 1 CP on a stationary unit.
Stationary is a lot worse. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's a lot worse.
A lot worse, but it being a battle tactic stratagem is nice.
If you disembark from a transport, that's not remain stationary.
It's not remaining stationary.
Not remaining stationary.
But you want me to get froggy with it? Getting into a transport doesn't make the transport not stationary. Where am I going with this? What if there was an empty impulsor just floating around? Is your opponent really going to kill it? Maybe, maybe not. What if the Desolators got inside the empty impulsor and they fired their heavy super crack missiles out the top? The impulsor didn't move, good sir. +1 hit and wound. Critical 5s. That'd be pretty good, right?
That would be pretty good.
That'd be pretty good, right?
That'd be pretty good.
There's something here.
That would be pretty good.
I think it's a little cute.
It's a little cute. I actually, it's not like broken or anything.
No, it's not. But like, we gotta do, we gotta work with it.
Of course.
When there's one more stratagem.
Hail of Vengeance, 2 CP, not a battle tactic. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has resolved its attacks. Mm-hmm. 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that had 1 or more of its models destroyed as a result of those attacks. Your unit can shoot, but must target only that enemy unit when doing so, and only if they're an eligible target. What I
most want to use this on is a Hellblaster unit. Everyone who dies shoots you. Everyone who lives also shoots you. Thought you were getting away from this? Pow!
And they stand still. I don't know how that works.
It doesn't.
It doesn't
work there. You can't remain stationary in your opponent's turn.
Damn it.
Yeah, sorry. Damn it. But it still works in your turn. So that part's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, they try to shoot you first, shoot them back. So I think that this is pretty good. 2 CP is a little steep for non-battle tactic.
They shoot you. Everyone who dies shoots. Everyone who lives shoots. Then you overcharge.
Yeah.
And then everyone
who lived and overcharged then die and shoot. Yeah, it gets silly, but I don't think that alone actually makes Hellblasters great. It's just very funny.
It's very funny. It's like a chain reaction that ends up burning the whole Hellblaster unit and just firing it like 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, like the best case scenario here is you have a big 10-man of something durable. In my mind, the best case here is like a Terminator unit, like actual tactical Terminators, because they actually kind of got cheaper in the Mutant Field Manual.
It went down to 390, yeah.
Yeah, if someone like starts shooting you, tries to chip, kills one, just like whatever, man. Here's 8 Terminators shooting you. Good enough. I'll spend 2 CP on that. Yeah, let's get some damage going. Very, very interesting set of strats. It's all very focused. Imperial Fists are very good at what they do, which is remain stationary and shoot you. However, as soon as you force them to do something else, there's not a ton of dimension in this detachment.
No, that very much is what they're doing.
Hyper specialized.
Yeah, it doesn't really speak to me, to be honest, but if you are able to stand still and like make those firing lines sing, like
if I was on light terrain and I could like had exactly enough room to hide 3 Whirlwind chassis, I could see it. You hide your 3 Whirlwinds, they get heavy, a couple of them are sustained critical 5s all over the place, and then you have some actual guns holding still and just pointing at people. I mean, once you get a Gladiator Lancer +1 to hit and wound on its big gun, brother, everybody's taking damage.
And everyone's taking damage against the Lancer anyway.
I managed to miss with that an embarrassing amount of times.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, overall, I agree. I think that this is it's not for me. I think it's a little too one-dimensional because its one dimension isn't insane. Holding still and shooting people has not been the Space Marine problem.
No.
If people park in front of you and say, I bet you can't shoot me, yeah, the Anvil Siege Force is going to make them look like a clown. I get it. However, so did the Gladius Task Force, if I'm being honest.
I mean, yeah, all of the Space Marine armies can just be like, no, what are you doing here?
Yeah, like, come on, like, have some decorum, please.
Come on, what are we doing? But yes, if you can stand still, this army does hit very hard, but you can't really do that as much.
I wouldn't recommend.
All right, we got the Ironstorm Spearhead.
Oh, sweet, let's do it. The Ironstorm Spearhead is totally not Iron Hands, and you can tell because the picture on the top is Iron Hands.
Oh, interesting.
Anyways, it's for anyone. So, the detachment rule here is Armored Wrath. Once per phase for each Adeptus Starters in your army, you can reroll 1 hit, wound, or damage made for a model in that unit. So 1 hit, wound, or damage, not and every time you activate, essentially just once per phase.
That's so weird that is a strictly worse version of the Elder one.
I do like that it includes a damage, but it is not as good.
It's not strictly worse by the definition, but like it is worse.
It is worse, yes. Yeah. Still not bad. Having a wound reroll on some of your tank stuff that's pointing at deal with targets quite good. Then we've got Enhancements. This is, I think, the real money of the detachment. We've got some auras here. The first one is the Target Augury Web. This aura can be put on attack marine only. Vehicles within 6 inches have lethal hits. That's it.
Quite good.
That's it. Just 6-inch aura of reroll hits for all vehicles in the army. Lethal hits.
Lethal hits, not reroll hits.
Sorry, lethal.
Yeah.
Lethal hits. This is very good. It combos with Oaths quite well because you kept the reroll hits part. And you don't want to have to roll the wound anymore because that's worse.
Yes.
So, here you go. Combo. The Flesh is weak. The Bearer has Feel No Pain 4+. That is a hilarious enhancement. I'm sure it's the same as the Necron 4+ Feel No Pain. Let me just put it on Golem or something. But this one...
We don't have a not epic hero to put this on, like Transcendent Catan.
This is a cool enhancement. I don't think it actually matters that much because there are such better options in the rest of it.
Yes.
Next is Adept of the Omnissiah. This is also attack marine only, so it's really telling you what they want you to take. They're not being subtle. Once per battle round, while a vehicle within 6 inches fails a save, reduce the damage to 0. This is the best kind of reduced to 0, which is the one that happens after you roll the save.
Yes.
It's not the before the save, like, the Tyrannifex or Ogildorn. This is the good version. It's just once a battle round, blank a save.
It is twice as effective, because usually you're taking, I would say, like, against high damage weapons, you're taking, like, a 4-up. And now you failed it when you activate it. You're not activating it in half the time you would have passed it.
Absolutely. So, this is great. Great enhancement here. And then one more, Master of Machine War. And this is another aura. This one's for any Adeptus Astartes model launched attack marine, which is nice. And that is a 6-inch aura of friendly Adeptus Astartes vehicles are eligible to shoot, even if it fell back or advanced this turn. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Just smack this guy in the middle. Whole army advances and shoots or falls back and shoots because, let's be honest here, you're taking vehicles. This is telling you what to do. It's take vehicles.
Yes, you are taking Target Augury Web, Adept of the Omnissiah, and Master Machine War, and the Flesh is Weak can do whatever it wants because you can't actually take more than 3
and that's that.
Enhancements you're taking.
This list is begging you to have a Dreadnought ball sprinting around.
Yes.
And I will say yes.
Yeah,
I will answer.
I'll
do that.
Yep. Redemptors.
Fall back, advance, shoot.
Redemptors do be good.
Love it.
Falling back shooting is so good.
And advance and shooting is so good. Let's just get both in there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a vehicle army, they tie up and you're like, that doesn't matter. Whoop.
Bang. Awesome. We've got 6 stratagems here. One of them is Armor of Contempt. Cool. The next is Unbowed Conviction, a convenient battle tactic. And this is a 1 unit that is below starting strength. You can ignore all mods to characteristics and rolls.
It's not bad. If they chip a wound or 2 off of a Redemptor, you're just like, sick.
Yep. If they shoot you with a Night Spinner and they kill a guy, because that's how Night Spinners work, you just ignore the mod real quick and keep going.
Yes.
Generally quite useful. Below starting strength is mildly annoying, but I think that for vehicles, since again this list is begging you to take vehicles, that's quite fine. So wounded vehicle is going to ignore mods and then heal up, and it's going to be like, whatever, I don't care what you're doing here. Now, of course, we are still kind of waiting on an official GW FAQ to tell us what ignore mods means regarding weapons. AKA is modifying its characteristic and its weapons characteristic the same thing or not. Depending on the local ruling you get for that, this stratagem will either be pretty decent or good.
It has been a question in the air for the last...
since the
edition came out. I assume eventually they will get
at some point they're answering that.
Probably.
All right. Mercy is weakness in your shooting or the fight phase. It's this one. Okay, cool. Each time a model makes an attack that targets a unit below starting strength, that attack has sustained hits 1, And if it's a vehicle, criticals on 5s.
So
1 CP.
If the enemy unit's below starting strength, sustained hits 1, and if the attacking model is a vehicle, critical hits on 5s.
Yes. Stack that with lethal hits.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. What if someone was hurting? Someone was in pain, and you, the merciful Iron Hand that you are, I mean, any chapter, thought to yourself, I should put them out of their misery by slapping Bolter Discipline at full power on anything in my army. That's what I'll do for 1 CP.
Oh, it's a battle tactic, so feel free to go ham, fam.
Funny you should mention that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
If you are wounded, you are now dead.
Yeah, you were wounded, I finish.
And it's... like, all you need to do is fire anything and do a point of damage to a vehicle or monster. Or you need to kill one model with, like, a whirlwind or something. And then you're like, sweet, dead.
Yeah, just a little bit of chip. And this is so easy to set up is the nice part. Just a little bit of chip.
Grenade strat.
Yeah, just...
the unit runs up, grenade strats you, and then goes, oh, are you wounded, fam? Boom!
It's gonna hurt a lot. So, I love this stratagem. Critical hits on 5, sustained hits, slap on, lethal hits because you're near your target augury web on the lone op tech marine following you behind. Yeah,
wait,
I'm gonna do that.
Are you saying I could make a list out of Gulliman to double up on these?
Obviously.
Like 2 tech marines.
Yeah.
3 tech marines, obviously.
2. The one that's that goes on the lieutenant who's a lone up.
I see. Yeah.
And then 9 dreadnoughts.
And then like 9 dreadnoughts.
Yeah. Absolutely, yes.
I want to do that.
Oh yeah.
I really want to do that.
Right. We've still got 3.
I like how, when I started out, like really going competitive, I was like, oh man, these like 6 dreadnought lists are for losers. And then now I'm, I was broke. Now I'm woke. I'm like, Absolutely. 9 dreadnoughts, let's go.
All right. Luckily, there's a lot more good stuff here. 1 CP for Vengeful Animus. Just if a vehicle with deadly demise is destroyed, push the big red button.
It's real good. It's so good.
You
take a Redemptor, you put it in the middle of your opponent's army. When they finally get around to killing it, just on the way out. It's so good.
Right. Ancient Fury in your command phase. So not a battle tactic, sadly. The first 3 we did: Armor Contempt, the Ignore mods, and Mercy's Weakness. Those were all battle tactics. So 3 battle tactics is pretty good. But anyways, Ancient Fury is in your command phase. Pick a walker, and it gains +1 move, toughness, save, leadership, OC, and +1 hit.
Oh my god. So a toughness 11 Redemptor with a 1-up save, cover, and Armor of Contempt?
Yes.
Can I make Nick cry like 5 times?
Absolutely. Well, what you do here is, since you have Gullman, 1 Redemptor gets Ancient Fury, the other 2 get Armor of Contempt. Therefore, they all have 1-up saves and then cover. Or you just say the 1 Redemptor that's stepping on the middle objective, that's the one with Ancient Fury.
That's
Armor Contempt.
It's got Ancient Fury, Armor Contempt, cover for a negative 1-up save.
Oh yeah, just
kick rocks, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah,
and it's OC5.
And it's OC5 +1 leadership. Everything about this is cool. It's just.
Is it that great?
It's actually pretty good.
It's fine. You call it ahead of time. The best part is obviously the save characteristic.
I don't mind hitting on 2s.
But going 9 inches instead of 8 is good. Toughness 11 instead of 10 is good. All of it's good. You have to pre-call it, so it's not like broken or anything. I'm quite happy with it.
I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
The final one is Power of the Machine Spirit. When your opponent shoots you, an Adeptus Astartes vehicle that was reduced to below half strength as a result of the attacking unit's attacks, shoot it back. They shoot you, they get you below half strength, fire straight back at them like, who dares? Bang.
Yeah, I mean, it's telling you what kind of army you want to run.
This detachment is the Dreadnought detachment. You run a lot of Dreadnoughts and an amount of vehicles. You run 3 lone op characters. You take every enhancement. Like, just...
And Gullman.
You could take Gullman.
Because Gullman is standing next to a Tech Marine, which gives him lone up as well, right?
Correct. That's exactly how that works.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
It sounds so fun, right?
Sounds good. You just repair them and you make Nick cry. Anyone cry.
So this detachment is also very focused in the same way that the Anvil Siege Force was focused. This is focused in the way that I want to play.
Yeah, this is focused into, hey, take probably not 9, but some amount of Dreadnoughts more than what your opponent
6,
wants.
Yeah, minimum 6 and then a lot of stuff still.
Yeah. And then you just... they just have a Dreadnought party on the center of the board. And your opponent can either cry, go home, or give up, or some combination of all of them.
Yeah, if you can't handle Dreadnoughts, God.
Even if you can handle Dreadnoughts, that gets your foot in the door. Yeah. It does not mean you win the game.
That's true, yeah.
I don't like...
This is great.
This is great. I don't like... Again, I don't think it's broken. But it is...
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's not a wide-ranging... You can't make 5 different kinds of armies with this. This is one kind of army. You can run a whole lot of vehicles, and that's fine. Or you can run Dreadnoughts with some vehicles, and that's probably better.
Yeah.
3 Redemptors for sure. Redemptors are just cracked right now.
And 3 Ballistas. I think you start with 6.
I don't know about the Ballistas, honestly.
Having reroll hits and lethal hits all the time.
They're pretty good, don't get me wrong.
Pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Maybe
There are
cheap.
a lot of good options.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyways,
Gladiator's also quite solid.
This detachment, very good. Big like.
Honestly, I don't even think you need Guilliman in here. Like, this could be Black Templars, and you just take a whole lot of multi-meltas on everything.
There are options.
I will make Nick cry.
There you go.
All right, Firestorm Assault Force. This is the Salamander-themed one. This one is very cool. Mm-hmm. All right, we've got Close Range Eradication. Ranged weapons equipped by Adeptus Astartes models from your army have the Assault ability, and every time they make an attack within 12 inches, +1 strength.
Pretty good. Having assaults on everything is really nice, just across the board. +1 strength when you get close is very situational, but when it works and it hits the breakpoint, it's massive.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's, I'm strength 6 instead of 5. I'm toughness 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Strength 7 to strength 8 used to be a massive breakpoint. It now no longer matters. So there are times when breakpoints don't matter very much.
Absolutely. But ideally, you try to take the ones that are on the border of a
4
breakpoint.
Strength 4, strength 5, strength 6, strength 10, strength 12. Anything like that. Strength 9. Those all really like those.
Yeah,
+1
there are a few. So, interesting start. Enhancements?
Enhancements. Champion of Humanity.
Oh, wow. I wonder who this is based off of. Salamanders.
Tacticus model only. While the bearer is leading a unit, models in that unit can ignore any or all modifiers to characteristics and any roll or test made for them.
This is the same thing as that Iron Hand stratagem, where depending on the ruling you get from your local TO, or depending on if, James Workshop sees their shadow, this is either good or great.
Yeah, it's either, I think it's either great or fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it ignores damage and AP, then it's great. If it doesn't, then it's fine, I think.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Like, I took a character in Grey Knights 80% just for this effect. Mm-hmm. And you can staple this onto an existing character. Oh, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I would love it if my Hellblasters just deleted Deathwing Knights. But they might not.
They might not. All right. War Tempered Artifice.
Mm-hmm.
Adeptus Astartes infantry model only, +3 strength to their melee weapons. It's fine.
It's gotta be cheap.
It better be.
Yeah.
I mean, points are going to change, in Minotaur Field Manual.
The Tyranid enhancements didn't change at all.
That's true. This is the Firestorm Assault Force. War Tempered Artifice is 25 points. It's the most expensive one.
No. That's not the one I'm paying 25 for.
Champion of Humanity is 10 points. The ignore modifiers.
That's quite good.
That's going in every single list. I don't care.
Honestly, Tacticus model only is a problem.
If you include a unit in Tacticus armor that wants a leader.
Yeah, then yes.
Yes. Forged in Battle. Space Marine model. While the bearer is leading a unit once per turn after making a hit roll or saving throw for a model in that unit, you can change the result of that roll to a 6.
Love this.
Yes.
That is phenomenal. It's once per turn?
Once per turn. So on your opponent's...
How many points is that one?
15. The points on this feel a little dartboard. The worst one is the most expensive one, and the best one is the cheapest.
Yeah, flip a 6 is the best one. Flip a 6 is so good.
I mean, this goes on anybody, and that goes on Tacticus.
Fair.
But being able to 10 points say, I ignore all mods, is gross.
Yeah.
I mean, but what are we arguing about? You're taking both.
You are taking both.
You're taking both.
And one more?
Adamantine Mantle. Each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, -1 damage, and if it's made with Melta or Torrent, change the damage to 1.
Situation. That feels like a points filler one, and it's not going to be the cheapest. So
it is not.
20?
I believe it's 20, which is kind of...
fine. I'm not super...
If you take a Melta weapon... Oh, no, Melta to 1 is great, but then they get Melta.
Then they get Melta.
Yes. Because Melta is not, the profile's not D6 plus 2 damage. It is D6, and then you add 2 at the end.
And then Torrent is mostly damage 1.
And the way it works is you would then set the damage to 1 and then add the 2, because that's how the rules work.
Yeah.
And Torrent are mostly 1, sometimes 2.
It's a little weird.
Yeah. -1 damage on one model is not that great. Especially since it's the second most expensive one.
Dude.
The best ones are 10 and 15 points. The worst ones are 20 and 25. If you had switched all those, I would have understood.
Yeah.
Anyway, strats. Those are great enhancements. The two that are good
are great.
The two that are good are good.
The flip a really 6 good. On any unit that either has lethal or that has good wound ability. Like just like,
it's a hit roll, not a wound roll. Yeah.
It's a hit roll.
It's a hit roll or saving throw.
Lethal.
Yep.
I mean, I'm immediately thinking, because it's Salamanders, I'm thinking Apothecary Bilo just with, like, Eradicators. Just lethal hits, full rerolls hit against vehicles.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
We have Armor of Contempt.
Mm-hmm.
Crucible of Battle, 1 CP battle tactic. Your shooting phase or the fight phase, an infantry unit in your army. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets the closest eligible target within 6 inches, +1 to wound.
So it's not just a 1 CP plus 1 to win, because that'd be too good. You got to get danger close here.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay.
I love getting danger close.
We're already incentivized to get within 12 to get +1 strength. So let's go within 6 and get +1 strength and +1 to wound, because sometimes that's +2 to wound.
Yes. And this also works in melee, as long as you're within 6 inches of your target. Closest
eligible is very funny for like things to figure out in melee, because that will very occasionally matter, but 95% of the time, no one's even going to notice.
Yeah, and Adrax Agatone's unit is going to use this every single time. His Blade Guard unit slams.
Blade Guard? Adrax Agatone?
Yeah, buddy.
What?
We'll cover that, but a lot of people can join Blade Guard who couldn't before.
Yeah.
That unit will ragdoll people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Crucible Battle, fantastic stratagem. A+, we love it.
It is a defining strat for Firestorm Assault Force, for sure.
Yeah.
Rapid Embarkation. End of the fight phase, 1 CP. A transport unit from your army that has no models embarked within it, and 1 infantry unit from your army wholly within 6 inches of that transport. Your infantry unit then gets to embark within that transport. And you can't target an infantry unit within engagement range that cannot normally embark within that transport, or that disembarked from a transport this turn.
I love this stratagem.
Yes.
It's a little bit niche. It's kind of cute, but it's very funny.
Yes.
It's just because it's in the fight phase. So, right, it's just in the fight phase.
End of the fight phase.
Yeah, end of the fight phase. So what you can do here is it can't be someone who disembarked from a transport this turn. But you could, for example, have an Eradicator unit behind a wall just on foot, walk out, point guns at people, shoot, end of the fight phase, get in the transport behind the wall.
Yep. Because you have to not get out of the transport, get back in, but you can be out of the transport, next to a transport, walk out, shoot, get back in the transport.
Or drive a Land Raider forward, aggressors get out, kill everyone within 12 inches, because that's how +1 strength Eradicators work, or aggressors work. And then your opponent's like, wow, you're all the way over in the middle of nowhere, we're just gonna do something else real quick. In your opponent's fight phase, you get back in the Land Raider drives over, gets the aggressors back out, the party doesn't stop.
It never stops.
The party never stops.
The party never stops. God, Strength 7 Inferno Cannons. Or Flamestorm Cannons.
A strategic ploy.
I know. Strength 7 Flamestorm Cannons. Yeah, that's pretty good. With Assault.
Love that.
With Assault?
With Assault, would you spend a CP for +1 wound if you drove right up on someone?
Yes.
I
100%. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Immolation Protocols. 2 CP Battle Tactic.
Funny, there are 5 battle tactics in this stratagem, in this detachment.
So weird. So weird.
5!
Rapid Embarkation is the only one that isn't, and it's niche enough that I don't think you're going to double up on it. 5.
Yeah.
So, 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot in your shooting phase.
Mm-hmm.
Torrent weapons get devastating wounds. It's pretty good.
2 CP is appropriate.
Aggressors slam. Twin linked flamer gauntlets shooting.
Yeah.
That is a lot of damage. That's a lot of goddamn damage.
That's a lot of damage. I mean, because at that point you're looking at 6d6 plus 6. Right? Because it's d6 plus 1 per dude.
6d6 plus 6.
Anything in the game, that's an average of 27 shots. And then you wound on 6s, rerolling everything, fishing for dev wounds. You're going to put about 9 damage on anything before you look at what wound rolls 2 through 5 did for you.
Yes. And I do think that's probably the best torrent weapon to use it on.
That is one of the best. I actually think that the Infernus Marine is the best one.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's 10d6 shots.
Yep. And you do run up and drop Vulcan and say,
whoa.
"You."
Yeah, this is the one. This is the chapter that's really telling you to take the chapter that it's designed for.
Yes, you're taking
salamanders
Vulcan,
are
and you
really good in like keyword salamanders are very good in Firestorm. Iron Hands don't really care. You can take anyone in the Iron Ancient detachment, whatever it was called.
Yes,
but this one likes salamanders.
Yes,
this is great.
So yes, Immolation Protocols is very good. There is a cap on how much damage you can do because like the best you can do is a unit of aggressors that averages like 27 shots, or a unit of Infernus Marines that averages 35. So like you're not gonna do the super wombo aggressor combo from the Gladius, but still that's gonna hit.
Yeah, if you need damage done in a pinch, this is a good way to do it.
It's a good way to do it. Onslaught of Fire, 1 CP. In your shooting phase, a unit from your army that disembarked from a transport this turn and has not shot yet. Until the end of the phase, every time a model in your unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible unit within 12 inches, +1 to the hit roll. If one or more enemy models are destroyed from those attacks, you pick one of the destroyed models, and that destroyed model's unit must take a battle shock test.
1 CP +1 to hit. Is it within 12?
+1 to hit if you target the closest eligible unit within 12.
Okay, so
you have to have disembarked from a transport.
Okay, a lot of hoops.
Yes.
But when it comes up, 1 CP +1 hit, take a battle shock test is still pretty good.
It's not bad. It's fine. You have to kill a model to take a battle shock, which means like you can't shoot a Norn and force it to battle shock or some nonsense.
I mean, look, I'm honestly thinking of this as get the aggressors out, 1 CP +1 to hit.
It's pretty good.
I'd like to have that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use that every time, but it's a battle tactic.
Yep.
So I'd like to have it. This one's not as strong as the others, but it's still nice to have.
And it's only shooting. It's not melee. So that means that if you take Flamestorm aggressors, this cannot be used on them. I mean, it can. It just won't do anything.
You can cause battle shock tests.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That part genuinely could matter because Infernus Marines cause battle shock tests themselves. So if you really are like this, just has to fail battle shock for this part of the plan to work. Maybe. I think it's cool.
Yeah. And then Burning Vengeance, which is by far the coolest one, for sure. 1 CP, battle tactic, obviously. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has resolved its attacks. 1 transport that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. 1 unit within that transport can disembark and then shoot, but must target only the enemy unit when doing so, and can only do so if the enemy unit's an eligible target.
This is so funny.
It is so funny.
Just like picture, you shoot a Land Raider, the Eradicators get out and say, "Oi, mate, what you do that for?" Bang!
Yes.
Like 6 aggressors get out, flame you.
Yeah, if you shoot at the transport, they're like, "What are you? Stop that!"
I just love the idea that the Salamander's like chilling in the bus. They hear a bang and they're like, "Guess it's now. Get out!" And they're like, "You."
They hear a quaping on the side of the transport.
Some poor guardsman fired a lasbolt and they're like, "Oh my god!" All of
Absolutely not. And then they
very, very funny because trying to engage this army is going to get really weird.
Especially since they all have flamers.
Yeah.
So, like, stop that.
Kind of funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
This is an army. So, I mean, that's the...
I mean, it actually doesn't need to have flamers, right? The only thing that references flame weapons is...
the 2 CP torrent weapon go whoosh.
Yes. Which, honestly, you don't need to tech into.
No, you don't have to have flamers. It's just that it incentivizes close range weapons, and so that happens to lead you in a direction. You could 100% go without that.
Yes. You can also then take Vulcan, who gives you reroll to wound, and
with flame weapons and dev wounds. Yeah, that one combo is just like really. I kind of want to have that.
It's pretty tight. Yeah.
I have a strong opinion on the Avatar of Cain, and if he tries to shoot my Land Raider, I'm gonna let him know.
He lost the rule where he can't be hurt by Melta or flamer weapons.
You know what? Tell you what, he can have a feel no pain against mortal wounds for my dev wounds.
I see. Yes. They're not mortal wounds. So he just dies. Yeah, the Avatar does drop to Immolation Protocols. You do immolate him real good.
Done.
Okay. Firestorm Assault Force, I think we're both very impressed with.
This is my favorite one because it's so pure in its purpose.
It also does the best stuff.
It has a lot of good tricks. This is besides the Gladius, which haven't really factored in here, this is my favorite one.
Yes. Yeah.
It's really good.
It does some really good things.
It's very cool. It's very stack the combos to do its thing.
Let's go to your favorite chapter.
This is my second favorite one. This is my favorite chapter, the White Scars. This is the Stormlance Task Force.
Yeah, it's your favorite chapter, but the Salamanders have a new convert today.
Absolutely. So, Lightning Assault, advance in charge, fall back in charge, army. All 5 turns, advance in charge, fall back charge. Good start. That's a good start. They do give us 4 White Scar themed enhancements here. Fury of the Storm, which is +1 to the strength and AP of the bearer's melee weapons, and if they charge, +2 strength and AP, but it can only go on a mounted model.
Oh, that's rough.
So that means it can only go on the Bike Chaplain * unless you play Space Wolves. And I'm gonna say,
let's get this out of the way right now. Let's talk about the White Wolves.
Yep. So a lot of the rules that I'm gonna mention say mounted, and you're gonna think, wow, this is a fluffy, cool rule for Outriders and and like chaplains on bike.
But you remember how my Black Templars could use the Gladius?
Yep.
Right? My Blood Angels can use the Salamanders one.
Mm-hmm.
Space Wolves and their units can use the Stormlance, and their units
they
are mounted.
Thundercav mounted.
Thundercav are mounted. Thunderwolf Cavalry are 30 points model for toughness 6, 3 up, 4 up, 4 wounds.
Getting a T-Cav model with +2 strength and AP on the charge is it's pretty funny.
And advance in charge, whole army.
And fall back in charge, whole army. Like, that'll add up pretty fast.
It will add up pretty fast. Now, preliminarily, we have not actually seen this on the table. We'll have to see what Quentin can cook up.
Yep.
It does not look busted.
I don't think it's going to be broken. I just think it's like, wow, that's going to help T-Cav a lot.
It definitely was not intended.
It does feel that way.
But it might. I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be a strong list, but I think it's going to be perfectly within the bounds.
Agreed. So let's hit up Portents of Wisdom. While you're leading a unit, this is anyone, reroll advance rolls. So just reroll advances. Very simple, but you know what? That is nice to have.
That's good, because you advance in charge without having to pop anything, so you get to just roll the advance. Oh, I rolled a 2. I'm going to reroll that.
Yeah, just do it every turn. Fainting Withdrawal lets the unit fall back and shoot.
That's fine.
The fact that you have to... This is a sad enhancement great stratagem, and it's an enhancement.
Yes. So
I'm a little lukewarm on that. And then finally, Hunter's Instincts. This is another mounted one. And that is that you treat the battle round as being 1 higher for the purpose of strategic reserves. That's not inspiring to me, because the only way this works is if you put either a T-Cav character or a Bike Chaplain into reserves and then want to outflank him a turn earlier. So it's not going to be Deep Strike. Now, it is cute that you could rapid ingress a T-Cav unit in turn 1. That's cool.
That's sweet. You actually can't.
No? Purpose of setting the unit up on the battlefield, treat the current battle round as being 1 higher.
Yeah. You're not allowed to use things in different phases and modify them. It's the reason why you can't bring in First to the Fray, rapid ingress turn 1.
I think that ruling's wrong, if I'm being honest with you.
I get it, but that's how literally everywhere's playing it. So.
Fair enough. Well, in that case, not that excited about this.
Yeah.
All right, 6 stratagems. Armor Contempt is one of them. Love it. Blitzing Fusillade.
If you're curious about that, I can try and help. You can tag me in the Discord or something, and I can try and help with that.
I'll tag you in the Discord.
Yeah.
All right, so 1 CP Blitzing Fusillade, and 1 Adeptus Astartes unit that has not been selected to shoot this phase gains Assault, and if it already had Assault, gets Sustained Hits 1. I love 1 CP get Assault weapons. If you happen to have it, Sustained Hits 1 is cool, but I love it because so many units that are multi-purpose shooting in combat are going to be advancing for the combat part of this, and still being able to shoot is really important.
Yes.
You can do it on a unit that's going to action, whatever it may be. I like Blitzing Fusillade.
It's very good, especially just the advanced action. As you said, they can just have bolt pistols, and you'll still use this. Yep. Just so you can do, teleport homers or whatever.
And that is a battle tactic. Just worth pointing out. There's 4 in this attachment. Next up is Full Throttle, a 2 CP Wargear stratagem. And I love the idea that this wolf is actually a Wargear. But when you advance... Yeah, so when you advance, add 6 inches to the move instead of rolling, or 9 inches if mounted. But it only applies to a mounted or vehicle non-walker unit. So you can't do this on infantry.
Yes.
This is for... And I feel like 2 CP is actually a little harsh here, but then I think, how many CP would I pay for my Thundercav to flat advance 9 inches in charge? And I realize it is 2 CP.
Yeah, 2 CP is right.
On a vehicle, that's a little harsh.
On any other unit. Any other unit other than Thundercav, this should be 1 CP. Yeah, but
I wouldn't...
On Thundercav, it has to be 2.
Outriders flat advance 6. 2 CP to go from 6 to 9. I don't know, man.
Yeah. On anything other than TCAV.
But on TCAV, it has to be 2.
It would be 1. But on TCAV, it has to be 2 because it's
so,
super good.
Really good stratagem sometimes. It is expensive. It's too expensive to spam out, I think. But it is a really good stratagem to have it once. Just to tell, hey, just so you know, the Thundercav unit might go 20 or like 19 inches in charge.
Yes.
You should be aware. It's like, oh, wow, let me back up a little bit.
Yes.
3 more to go still. Shock Assault. In your charge phase, a mounted unit that is not declared a charge gets reroll charges and lance. 1 CP battle tactic.
It's in your charge phase.
So it's before you know if you've made the charge, but frankly, combining a CP roll for charge into lance for 1 CP feels pretty good.
Yeah, you proc it before you go in, and then if you fail the charge, you're like, oh, well, it's a very good thing I spent the CP here.
Yeah, like let's be real. If you have a declarable charge that you could fail, you are going to spend a CP on a CP roll if it failed.
Yeah.
So you spend it now. And if you have a charge that you were going to just like make anyways, it's like a 3 or 4 incher, well, just do it now to guarantee it works, and also 1 CP lance.
Yes.
I think this is quite good. Yes. I think Shock Assault's very good. Ride hard, ride fast. In your opponent's shooting phase, 1 CP battle tactic. This one's really good.
This one is incredible.
Mounted or fly vehicle that has just been targeted by a shooting attack. -1 to hit and wound until the end of the phase. That's the good one. That's the
Thankfully, it's not in combat too.
Yeah, but I'm honestly like, as good as this is on Thundercav to like run up and say, cool, who are you going to shoot? -1 to hit and wound. That's very cool.
It's very cool.
However, I actually kind of like this on the flying vehicle part because did you know that Storm Ravens are -1 damage?
I certainly didn't.
Yeah, you could just have a Storm Raven be -1 to hit, wound, and damage.
That is very good.
That's very good.
Armor of Contempt too, cover, why not?
Yeah, like just throw the whole thing and it's like the Storm Raven does not die.
It's pretty good. It's riding hard and riding fast. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, like what were you going to do? Shoot it while it's riding hard and riding fast?
Also, if you just take Thundercav in, with Wolf Lords in each unit and your toughness 6, -1 to hit, -1 to wound.
Takes a while.
It takes a while to get through them with guns. Luckily, the combat will still get there. It's not -1 to hit or -1 to wound on combat.
Finally, we have Wind Swift Evasion. And that is, after your opponent ends any kind of move in their movement phase within 9 of you, move a unit 6 inches. I love that this is any unit. It's 1 CP.
That's so annoying.
And it's any unit. It could be a land speeder. It could be like an infantry squad. It could be anything at all. Get within 9, move 6 inches.
I am going to get a headache in a tournament real soon off this.
Yeah.
For sure, unless I'm doing it.
So, there's a lot to unpack here. There's a ton of delivery. A ton of go fast, do your thing. There is not a lot of hit harder. Lance is the only thing you've got here.
There's Lance. Yeah,
it feels like the old White Scar problem, but then you remove +1 damage.
I was going to say, at least they did damage when they got their attacks through, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, Thunderwolf Cavalry going very fast, very far, at -1 to hit and wound on 2 separate units.
Super scary.
Very scary. But here's the thing, right? They don't actually hit that hard.
It's a bunch of AP1 damage too.
AP1 damage 2 on the charge. Off the charge, AP1 damage 1.
Lance, well, I mean, they're falling back and charging every turn.
Yeah, but like if you charge them, they get to fall back later and charge later. But alive, when they hit you, they don't crack you.
And not having any ways to improve the AP here is very noteworthy.
Yes.
There's very few ways to take this army and just say, I hit way harder. That's not really what this is doing.
Yes. TCAV are not getting over AP1, which means that they have some problems into some
So this list kind of feels like it's trying to be like this attachment I should say, feels like it's trying to be very technical, outpace you. And as soon as you do that with a technical army that's like infantry and like sneaky and fast, instead of TCAV, you realize you should be Gladius.
Yes.
Because they were like, wait a minute, I'll just advance and charge on the only turn I need, and then the turn after that is fall back and charge turn. Yes. Okay, good. And how many different turns of charge better do I need? Usually 2 at most.
And like this is legitimately insane on Thunderwolf Cavalry.
It is very good.
It is very good, but like that's 700 points of their army, 800 or whatever.
That's up. The -1 to hit and wound on flying vehicles is hilarious.
It is very funny.
I kind of want to just take like Guilliman 2 Storm Ravens.
Oh, we're back to that. Beginning of 8th edition was Guilliman Storm Ravens. Now we're Guilliman Storm.
You're grateful the Fire Raptor doesn't exist, trying to be doing it there.
I am grateful the Fire Raptor doesn't exist, which is sad. No, I think this is fun. I think this is cool. It has a lot of cool rules. Has a lot of deliverability, not a lot of damage, which I think is what you want to do, right? You don't want to make an army that goes 19 inches charges and has damage. Ugh. 19 inches charges, but if you're a really tough unit, they're going to have problems cracking you. Well, okay, that's fair. That's fair. Also, you know, like Terminators are White Wolf's worst enemy. And so I think White Wolf is actually a very interesting army. I think it's very exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that it doesn't have to be run as Space Wolves, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I think you could lean into the vehicle side of this a little bit more if you wanted to, which is what I'm planning to do. I love Wind Swift Evasion. I love having a bunch of fast-moving units. You know, the new price point for Vanguard Veterans in the Minotaur Field Manual is very appealing.
What was it? It's like 120 for 5?
I think it's cheaper than that. I think it's
the ones on foot or in Jump Pack?
Jump Pack.
Jump Pack, I think, are 120.
No, Jump Pack is cheaper than foot now. It's great. Yeah, they're cheap. You know, there's new Assault Intercessors with Jump Packs. Like, you know, I probably would still take one Outrider unit just to have a real quick, let's just go, you know, hit something. Because they do synergize with some of these stratagems, and it's a really good way to just go fast and tag something if you need to. So, interesting stuff here. But yeah, the lack of damage output, coupled with remember that reroll wounds is gone, is a big deal. Because a foot Vanguard veteran with Jump Pack, or just a Vanguard veteran with a Jump Pack, doesn't really get any damage buffs at all. Because they can't get the Lance here. You can't join con to them. Suddenly you're like, oh, this is just a dude charging with a power sword.
Kind of charging wherever he wants.
Wherever
he wants. Over and over and over again. But, like, whatever. So, I hope they don't take this off of Space Wolves. Like, I hope they don't, like...
Yeah, I don't think they need to.
Throw an FAQ or something and say, oh, by the way, not Thunderwolves or something. Like, I hope they don't do that.
I don't think they need to.
I don't think they need to. I think that army is going to be cool. And Space Wolves deserve something nice.
There you go. All right. On to the next.
Vanguard Spearhead. I've run the Vanguard Spearhead a couple times in the past.
Oh, yeah, the old versions.
The old version, the old troll version. So I'm excited to play this one. I think you're looking to start with Firestorm.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see if I can do something with the Vanguard Spearhead.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'm really going to try. So we got Shadow Masters as the detachment rule. Every time a ranged attack targets an Adeptus Astartes model from your army, or unit from your army, unless the attacking model is within 12, subtract 1 from the hit roll, and you get benefits of cover.
Really good rule.
That's
a good rule out the gate.
So the cover part used to be better last edition when cover wasn't on everybody, but the -1 to hit part is much bigger in this edition, where we meme on it, like, oh, rerolls are going away, but then they didn't. They did. Rerolls are, every army can get access to rerolls, but it's not like every unit is full rerolling to hit, right?
Yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
That's not a thing. So having -1 to hit is just going to turn a lot of their army into, you know, unreliable damage. You know, I hit on 4s. Oh no, 4s no rerolls, 4s no rerolls. Like,
Yeah, that's hard to deal with for a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right.
The Blade Driven Deep. It's an enhancement. Adeptus Astartes infantry model only, while the bear's leading a unit. Models in that unit have infiltrators. Are you a 10-man Deathwing Knight squad? Are you a 10-man Sanguinary Guard squad?
Is this when I would use a Proteus kill team? Do we have something for you?
We have something for you.
It's Infiltrator.
It almost certainly is not a unit that actually starts in this book. It is probably a unit from a supplement that grabs it. Are you a 20-man Primaris Crusader brick?
Oh, God. Oh, diabolical.
Yeah. Are you a 10-man Assault Terminator unit? You know, you have options. Would you like to start in midboard behind a wall? If the answer is yes, come talk to me. I have something for you. It's the Blade Driven Deep. That's great. That's just so good. That's so good.
It really is.
Ghost Weave Cloak. Adeptus Astartes model only. The bearer has stealth and lone op.
I don't know who to put this on. Like, it's a great enhancement. But I'm like, wait, where do I put it?
Yeah, right? Like, it is a great enhancement.
Like, who?
But who wants it?
Because all the characters now are, like, either already a lone up or their whole shtick is that they join a unit to make it better.
I guarantee you I will find somebody who wants this.
By all means, let me know when you do.
Yeah. This rule is great. I just need to find a unit that wants it. I don't know.
Is it like a Talon Master? Like,
Talon Master already gets lone
op
on him. Yeah. We'll find it. There's going to be somebody who wants to be a lone op. I don't know. Lone op is so good that I feel like
someone's going to be it.
Someone's going to want it.
We'll find it.
Execute and redeploy. Phobos model only in your shooting phase. After the bear's unit has shot, if you're not within engaged range, you can move up to 6. You can't declare a charge afterwards.
No.
It's good. Phobos really holds it back.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a ton. I mean, like, the best you could do, asterisk, is 3 Lasfusel Eliminators with, like, a Librarian. Like, I don't know.
But you could take 2 Lasfusel Eliminators and then they move by themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need a character plus an enhancement for that.
Agreed. I don't know where to put it either.
Yeah. Shadow War Veteran. Again, Phobos. Once per battle, after your opponent uses a stratagem, you can use this enhancement, and it vects it. This is...
That's great. Still.
Good. It is by far the most expensive one.
Was
this one is 30, maybe 35.
I'd pay that. I still value Vect, personally.
Vect is still good because it's mostly there for when your opponent is doubling up a strat.
Yep.
To prevent them from doing that. And if they're doubling up a strat, it's already a battle tactic. So, looking at the Vanguard Spearhead, Blade Driven Deep is 25, as it should. Ghost Weave is 15, very cheap. Execute and Redeploy, which is your unit shoots moves after it shoots, is 20. And Shadow War Veteran is 30, so it is a bit pricey.
Yeah, that's fair.
A Deadly Prize, 1 CP, start of the command phase, infantry or mounted unit within range of objective marker you control. You sabotage it, and it remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn, not phase, turn. While an objective marker is sabotaged under your control, each time an enemy unit ends a normal, advance, fallback, or charge move within range, on a 2-up they take D3 mortals. If they walk onto it and then charge off of it, that's 2d3 mortals. If they walk onto it, then charge, that's 2d3 mortals. Mm-hmm. Anything like that. And they cannot take control of it that phase. Yep. I don't actually know the timing on when you can use, like, take an objective and score a card, because this is
it's all end of turn. It'd be useful specifically if someone had a, while holding an objective, do X.
Yeah.
For example, reroll wounds for a sitting guard.
Because they physically cannot take it away from you until the end of the turn.
Yeah, it's weird. I like 1 CP sticky, splash some mortals on. It's a very Raven Guard thematic. I think it's fine. I don't think it's, like, insane, but that is nice to have an infiltrator be able to sticky a unit.
I think it's pretty good, honestly.
Is it a battle tactic, perchance?
It's not. It's war gear. I think just having sticky objectives is good enough. I think having it be where they can't take it back from you, like it's a situation when they can do that, is quite good.
I do love it.
Sometimes it'll come up.
I love the idea of an infiltrator sticking an objective.
And then the random mortals is also really nice.
It's quite useful.
Armor Contempt.
Cool.
Very good. Surgical Strikes, 2 CP, battle tactic. In the fight phase, you pick an infantry unit in your army and give them precision.
Very funny if you need your Thunderhammer Terminators to, like, kill every Necrotic character in the warrior unit.
Yes, it's good there if they leave them in line of sight of you. But like a lot of the time, your unit's weapons get precision by virtue of the fact that you kill the unit, then the character. Like, you have precision because they all die.
Yeah, it's a good backup strat. I don't think it's going to come up every game.
No, unfortunately not. 1 CP strike from the Stratos. In your shooting phase, this is a battle tactic. 1 infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot until the end of that phase. Each time a model in your unit makes a ranged attack that targets an enemy more than 12 inches away, improve AP and ballistic skill by 1. And if 1 or more enemy models are destroyed as a result of those attacks, that destroyed model must take, or destroyed unit takes a battle shock test.
Desolators.
I mean, sure. I don't think you actually do.
No, you don't need to.
No, they're not good enough.
More than 12 away, +1 ballistic skill, better than +1 to hit, and +1 AP is really good.
It's really good.
I like that on Hellblasters.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options.
There's a lot of good options.
Even like suppressors or something are quite good with it.
There's quite a few that like having that. An aggressor squad that just is shooting someone 12.5 inches away. There's like, whatever, hit on 2's an extra +1 AP. Mm-hmm. Now it's AP2.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Calculated Feint in your opponent's charge phase just after they declare a charge. This one is by far the best one.
This is so good.
It is insanely good. After they declare you as a target of a charge, you can move D6. Before they roll the charge, before they resolve their charge, before anything, you move D6 or 6 if you're Phobos or Scout. Is your opponent a melee army? Do they want to get to melee with you? Well, they can't. They can instead go kick rocks.
And they don't get to redeclare the charge.
No! They don't get to redeclare the charge at all.
That's so good.
That's excruciating. You have to make combat with everyone you declare. Everybody.
Into a shooting army, you're just like, oh, +1 save, -1 to hit. Phobos units all around with librarians. Oh, you wanted to charge me? Absolutely not.
Right, that's a 7. Well, suddenly it's a 13. You can't make the charge. Stay there. You declare 2 different units. Well, one of them leaves. Now you don't charge either. You screen out with Phobos and Scout Squads, they rapid
like,
ingress, and you're just out.
I really want to just interweave a Phobos unit with a Terminator unit and just wait for them to try to charge me.
Yeah. Okay, so what you're saying here, right, is you take a Terminator unit and you go guy, and then Phobos in the gaps. So that if they charge the Terminators, they also have to declare the Phobos unit. And because you can't go in engagement range of a unit, you are... yeah.
Just imagine doing that to orcs.
Yep, so they declare...
so funny.
They have to declare both.
Yeah.
They have to. And then the Phobos unit moves 6, and they fail their charge right in front of the Terminators. And you know what there's not even that much they can do about it.
You have to shoot them.
You have to shoot them.
But you're stealthy and have cover.
Yes.
So it's just annoying to do.
Yes.
It's very funny.
Because you can even put the Phobos... You can put the Phobos a little bit forward of the Terminators.
Yeah.
And
if they charge them, they back up.
Yeah. And then the Terminators walk forward and dome them.
Dare I ask what kind of stratagem this is?
Strategic play.
Alright. Totally fair.
But also, they charge your... even past the move 6 and prevent charges and whatnot, even past all that, it's a very strong stratagem. Because it's 1 CP... Any infantry unit can do it. Blade Guard.
D6 is still a backbreaker half the time.
Yeah, it's like Tanglefoot, but you get mobility.
When you put it that way.
Right? Right? It's better than Tanglefoot. And then sometimes it's way better than Tanglefoot. And you just have a squad of Blade Guard that ran up and charged something. Your opponent walks up, declares a 4-inch charge. You turn it into a 10-inch charge. They stand there. Your Blade Guard walk back up and kill them. Rinse and repeat.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It might be the best strat in this book.
It's one of them.
Yeah.
I like some of those Firestorm strats. I like Bustle Moon a lot.
Yeah.
One more.
Guerrilla Tactics. 1 CP strategic ploy. End of your opponent's fight phase. Up to 2 Phobos and or Scout Squads or 1 other Adeptus Astartes infantry unit from your army. Remove those units from the battlefield and put them into strategic reserves. Each unit selected for the stratagem must be more than 3 inches away from all enemy models.
I love the idea of doing this with a unit that deep strikes. Because they just go into strategic reserves. If they happen to have deep strike once they're there, it's like, oh, well, don't mind if I do.
I'm back.
I'm back,
baby.
Honestly, a 6-man Interceptor unit. Just every turn going somewhere.
Yes.
So good. It's a great stratagem. 2 Phobos units gets you a lot of mission play if you need it. 2 Scout Squads, 2 Infiltrator Squads, 2 Lasfusel Eliminator Squads just poking into a flank.
Yep.
Or just 1 big infantry brick doing its thing.
The thing to note is you have to be 3 inches away from enemy models when you do it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, whatever. It's fine. If I'm there, I'll find something to do. If I'm not, I'll go find somewhere to do.
Yes.
Terminator unit can do that, right? A 10-man Terminator can just beep, boop, up, down.
Oh, yeah. Up, down. Easy.
Beep, boop. Yeah. And the best part is it goes into strategic reserves.
Yes.
Doesn't say it has to arrive the next turn.
No.
So it can wait until it's needed.
And then wrap it.
Yep.
There's a reason I like Vanguard Spearhead.
It's very cool.
It's very cool. It doesn't have a lot of raw power, but what it does have is a lot of nonsense.
It's a lot of infantry-based tricks.
And I do like my infantry.
Yeah. And it's a lot of nonsense.
Speaking of infantry, the one that I wanted to be the best, I'm just going to read this one. I wanted this one to be good so bad. It still might be. It even has Black Templars. It has Black Templars up here. Anyway. Extremist level threat. Once per battle in your command phase, you can use this.
This is the first company task force.
Yes, this is the first company task force. Once per battle in your command phase, you can use this ability. If you do, until the start of your next command phase, each time a model from your army with Oath of Moment makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment target, you can reroll the wound roll as well. 1 turn of the game, you can relive your glory days of having Oath of Moment. It doesn't do anything other than giving you 1/5 of Oath of Moment back.
It's a heartbreaker. Just because it's rubbing in your face what you lost.
Yes.
That's what kills me.
The first company task force is all Blade Guards, Terminators, all of that nonsense. Yep. I love that. That is the coolest.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. Why? Yeah.
All right. Enhancements. The Imperium Sword. Add 1 to the attack's characteristic of the bearer's melee weapons. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does so, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of melee weapons equipped by all other models in the bearer's unit as well. That's
cool. That's the theme, is that all of these are like, do X for the guy. Once a game, do it also for the squad. This is very common. It is cool. Yeah, I like just taking one unit and making it hit harder. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's fine. Fear Made Manifest. While an enemy unit is within 6, other than monsters and vehicles, within 6 inches of the bearer, every time they fail a battle shock test, one model in that unit is destroyed. Once per battle, when such an enemy unit fails a battle shock test, you can choose for D3 models in that unit to be destroyed in this way instead.
It's very funny a very small amount of the time.
Yes.
Because it's 6 inches fail a battle shock test, which means you have to jump through a big hoop to then let them roll 2 dice and see if anything happens.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's very rarely going to be cool. It is very occasionally hilarious.
Yes.
Where if you pull off the silly combo, if you go find every battle shock thing you can do, because it's just one model in the unit's destroyed, right?
Yes.
But not a monster vehicle.
Chosen by its controlling player.
Sure, so you have to go find, like, Abaddon by himself because people ran out of Legionnaires, and then you run up to him and shoot him with an Infernus Marine, and then he might die. Like, what are we doing here?
If you bring a character to within 6 inches of a solo Abaddon and you're in a unit, just kill him. Just kill him normally.
Come on. Just shoot him with a flame and then he dies.
Maybe. Maybe, right.
If he's not doing his real battle shock aura.
That's so bad. Alright. Rites of War, which was the best warlord trait in the 9th edition book.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It was incredible. Adeptus Astartes Terminator only. Improve the OC of the bearer by 1. Once about the start of any phase, you can add 1 to the OC characteristics of all other models in the bearer's unit as well.
I actually like +1 OC a lot. It stacks with an Ancient. You get the OC of a Terminator squad high, but it's not inspiring.
You get an OC of if you put this on an Ancient, you get their OC to 3, which is not like you're taking enhancement and a character to give them +2 OC.
You put the enhancement on the character, easy.
No. I'm saying you're taking a character and then the enhancement, and all they do is +2 OC.
I know, it's not amazing.
And it's +2 OC once a game, by the way. +1 OC most of the game.
There's another enhancement. The next one is probably the best one.
Terminator model only. Bearer gets 5 at Feel No Pain once per battle. After the bearer's unit is selected as a target of 1 or more attacks. Until the end of the phase, models in the bearer's unit have Feel No Pain 5+.
Popping 1 phase of 5 up Feel No Pain is not as good as the 5 up Feel No Pain enhancement in Black Templars, but it is still nice that you can put that on a Deathwing Knight unit.
Deathwing Knights are the ones that want this. Because Black Templars can already 5 at Feel No Pain, and it is very, very good. It's like the best thing Black Templars do, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yes. It's why you play Black Templars.
Yeah, it's why you play Black Templars. You include that unit. Deathwing Knights are a different way of being durable, which is -1 damage. And then if once a game your opponent commits and you're like 5 at Feel No Pain as well, alright, that's pretty good.
That's a point where you just aren't killing that unit.
Now are you taking this instead of a Gladius?
Let's see what the stratagems are.
Armor of Contempt. Moving on. Heroes of the Chapter. Battle Tactic. 1 CP. In your shooting phase or the fight phase, a Terminator, Blade Guard Vet, Stern Guard Vet, or Vanguard Vet unit gets, every time they make an attack, +1 to the hit roll. If they're below half strength, add 1 to the wound roll.
Yeah.
+1 to hit.
+1 to hit below starting strength?
Below half.
No, the +1 to hit.
No, +1 to hit is just, it happens.
Oh, okay, cool. And +1 to wound if you're below half.
Yes. So you always get +1 to hit, and you get +1 to wound if you're below half.
1 CP +1 to hit is nice. It's not insane, but it's nice.
Below half strength rules are kind of useless.
They do make me sad. Now, 4 Terminators and a character is like the perfect size unit to do this. And if you're exactly there, will you be glad you have this 1 CP stratagem? Yes. Will this stratagem come up in every game? No.
No.
It will not.
Terrifying Proficiency. 1 CP in your fight phase. Again, Terminator, Blade Guard, Stern Guard, Vanguard. Veterans that made a charge move this turn and destroyed 1 or more enemy units this phase. If in your opponent's next command phase, each enemy unit within 6 inches of your unit must take a battle shock test. If the unit taking that test is below half strength, subtract 1, and they do not need to take any other battle shock tests in the same phase.
Got it. So if they would take a battle shock test, they take it at -1. If not, they take 1.
Exactly.
It's you really combo with that Fear Made Manifests and Hope. Everyone.
Sure.
What is it? Because is it once per game? Everyone who fails the battle shock takes.
No, it's once per game. When an enemy unit fails battle shock, you can pick that unit to take an extra
1
to take
D3
instead of 1.
D3 instead of 1. God, can't it just be D3 +1 so I don't feel bad that I rolled the 1?
Can't it just be D3 base? Like, yeah. Come on, can't it just do anything?
Okay. Cute.
Duty and Honor. 1 CP in your movement phase. 1 Veteran. Terminator, Blade Guard, Stern Guard, Vanguard. Within range of an objective marker you control. You sticky it. That objective marker remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn.
Okay. Sticky. Cool.
Sticky, yeah. Orbital Teleportarium. End of your opponent's fight phase. 1 Terminator unit. Remove your unit from the battlefield and place into strategic reserves. It will arrive back on the battlefield in the reinforcement step of your next movement phase using the Deep Strike ability, and you cannot pick a unit in engage range.
So to be clear, 2 of these stratagems are just blatantly worse version of the Raven Guard ones.
Yes.
So far.
Yes, they are.
Okay, 1 more.
Yes. Legendary Fortitude. 1 CP in your opponent's charge phase just after an unit ends a charge move. Battle tactic. 1 Adeptus Astartes Terminator, Blade Guard, Stern Guard, Vanguard with engaged range gets -1 damage until the end of the turn.
That's pretty funny.
That is quite good.
That's pretty funny.
That is quite good. I would rather that they didn't make the charge at all, though.
Yeah.
Which is the
this detachment is the one that makes us the most sad.
If you can't tell, I so want this to be good. I want this to be good.
Unfortunately, there's 7 detachments. Not all 7 are going to be great. This is the Crusher Stampede of Space Marines.
And this is the one that I didn't want to be the Crusher. I mean, to be fair, this is probably better than the Imperial Fist one.
I don't know.
-1 damage, reactive. I have a
when your
opponent
charges you, maybe, but I don't want to take Terminators that can't advance or fall back into a single thing.
Yeah, we're talking
because there's no deliverability in this at all.
I mean, we'll go over this when we go over. I think we're doing a tier list.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited.
Yep, that should be this next Tuesday, I think.
Yes. So, very excited to see that one. But I anticipate others will rise above the First Company Task Force.
Indeed.
All right. So, that is the end of the detachments.
Yep.
And that is most of the rules in the book. Yep. The data sheets are almost all the same as the data sheets that we had in the index. There are almost no changes.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to look through a lot of the data sheets?
I've looked through some of them.
So let me give you this speed run. Most of the named characters are exactly the same.
Except
the big difference is that if you have a Primaris character on foot who can't join Blade Guard veterans, now he can.
Khan, and that's a big deal.
That is really good. Khan can join them. Adrax can join them. Those are 2 significant changes right there. Shrike can now join the people you'd expect. Fun fact, by the way, since Shrike is this is just for you. Since Shrike is a dude who can join like jump pack units, Shrike is Phobos.
That's right. That is right. Yep. Yeah. That's really good. Shrike is also very, very strong.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yes.
Okay. So just letting you know about that.
Appreciate it.
Everything else named character-wise is like exactly what it used to be. Captains are exactly what they used to be. Let's just hit a couple of units that got changes that mattered and then talk about the new ones.
And being able to put units in Blade Guard veterans is night and day. Because a lot of the time they had good buffs that could go on the strongest 10 intercessors you've ever seen in your life. Yeah. And that is useless. Yeah. But being able to put them in Blade Guard, all right, now we are talking. Like being able to put Adrax Agatone in Blade Guard makes him from bad to very good.
Exactly. So let me tell you about the Lieutenant with Combat Weapon, because his change is subtle but very needed. So if you have 1 or more of these, so you only want 1, you pick an objective marker at the start of the battle. And all Adeptus Astartes reroll a wound roll of 1 against enemies on that objective marker. It is no longer within range of him. He is a lone op. He could be chilling on your back objective. And your entire army rerolls 1s to wound against an objective marker.
This guy was already, stealth good.
He was quite good. I usually found it wasn't relevant because I had Oath and how objective markers work. But now, this is mandatory. Every Space Marine detachment wants this guy.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's a lone op.
And he just points at an objective, and every one of your models on the entire board just rerolls 1s to wound against it.
Yep, that's good. Love that for him. Okay.
And he also makes a normal move whenever your opponent comes with a 9.
With an item? Yeah, 6 normal move. He's great.
He's
all
very
that's
good.
Change.
He's very good.
Chaplain and Terminator armor can take
in Raven Guard, they declare a charge on him. They walk up within 9, he moves 6. And then they declare a charge and he moves d6.
Yeah, it's very bad. Well, he's Phobos, so, another 6.
Oh, 6, sorry.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the first new units here. Company Heroes. This is totally not a command squad. Why would you think that? It's Company Heroes.
It's Company Heroes.
Anyways, this unit does have an entirely new data sheet. It's composed of 4 Space Marines who are 3 wounds. Sorry, 4 wounds each.
Yeah, it's 4 Space Marines that have to be joined by a captain. I did read this one.
Yes, and they're 4 wounds each. I actually love this unit. While you have an Ancient, your +1 OC takes them to OC2 each. And then they're -1 to be wounded while there's a character leading, which has to be, a captain has to attach to this.
Yes, they are very prideful, and if they are not graced by the presence of a captain, they will not join the battle. Like, straight up it says, they do not take part in the battle, they count as destroyed.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, take a captain.
Take a captain,
but I actually
please.
I still like that. So, unfortunately, it's an Ancient with a bolt rifle, a dude with a mastercrafted bolt rifle. I don't know why they gave this unit 2 different type of bolt rifles, and I hate that. Which is a Dev Wound Rapid Fire 1. It's basic damage 2. It's basically a damage 2 Stern Guard bolt rifle, but that's quite good. So it's 2 shots at 4 -1 to Dev Wounds Rapid Fire 1. And then a Mastercrafted Heavy Bolter, which is heavy, sustained hits 2, 3 shots, 5-1-3. That is a good heavy bolter.
I hate you have to buy a unit to get one good heavy bolter, but it is a pretty damn good heavy bolter, yeah. I'll say that.
And then it's also just a bunch of 4-wound Marines with -1 to wound that aren't that expensive. They're only 90 points in the back of the book.
For 4 guys?
For 4 guys, yeah.
Oh, that's very good.
That's the thing. It's like, this isn't that. 90 points. That's pretty good.
90 points for
4 wound guys with -1 to wound.
So the thing is, you have to take a captain. You have to want a captain in your army and not have a unit that he is already aiming to join.
I can think of one.
Vulcan Hastan.
This is Vulcan's homeboys right here. Vulcan's homeboys. That's what this is.
Yeah, very likely. Can you join Vanguard?
No.
Okay, well then yes.
Yep. Nope, can't do that. And then the champion has a 6 attack, 5 -2 precision weapon, which is actually technically just a guy who's weapon skill 2 who holds that. Not a champion, but that's what the champion model is.
I'll be honest. How many points is a captain?
Like 70 to 80.
So they're -1 to wound. They have a lot of wounds in the unit.
Yeah.
They might just be a beefy stat line just
for their own merit.
You just take like 2 or 3 of them and just beef it up.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
They have some shooting. They have some combat. So you have the captain, and then you have the champion slams.
Champion's great. Yep.
The champion slams, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I just like this unit. I think it's actually really good. A bunch of units didn't change. Assault Intercessors with jump hacks are the exact same stat line as Assault Marines. Their Chainsword is 4 attacks at 4 -1/1, which is the same as an Assault Marine was. They get new war gear instead of getting an Eviscerator and Random Flamers. They get a Power Fist on the Sergeant or a Power Weapon, but we all know you're going to take the Fist because it's the same weapon skill. And then you get like 2 Plasma Pistols or Hand Flamers in the unit. And that's what the Assault Intercessors do. They do Charge Mortals the same way Assault Marines used to, but it's worse now.
Because you have to be in engagement range.
It's now everyone in engagement range, not every model in the unit.
That is much worse.
Significantly worse. Still decent though, but they're cheap, which is nice. Although we'll have to see what final points end up as. And then there's just been a couple of changes to units. Scouts, the Scout Squad looks exactly like an old Scout Squad with the new war gear. Has the same rule, but Sniper Scouts don't exist. All the units that we knew they were going to Legends don't exist. Stern Guard veterans got a change.
So instead of shooting twice, what do, John?
They reroll 1s to wound against the Oath of Moment target.
That is significantly worse.
That is significantly not the same as getting double tap once again, and I wish that they had kept that. Yeah. A lot of the data sheets in here didn't change much. The new Terminators did actually change the rule. They are now +1 to hit against the Oath of Moment target instead of being +1 to hit and ignore mods.
Why, though?
Well, I don't know. They just toned it down a little bit.
Okay.
And that, genuinely, I think is the end of the changes. Like, everything, the data sheets are basically the same. The stat lines are the same. I'm sure I'm going to find out that,
a keyword change or whatever.
Yeah. Technically, I think tactical squads had a rule, and they now get combat squads where you can they come in as a 10-mana, and you can split into 2 5s. I don't know what they did before, and I'm not going to take them now.
Do not be fooled. Desolation Marines come in as a 10-man for 240 points. Mm-hmm. This is not going to be a thing that exists in real life.
Yeah.
Because it takes a while to make a beautiful book like this. This is before a lot of the changes were put into place, and there's just no way that they're actually
GW fooled me once. I played multiple games with the Tyranid points printed in the Tyranid Codex. And
you
we got
idiot.
A Munitorum field manual 2 days before the Tyranid Codex was actually for sale. So, honestly, I have not read the points cost in the back of this book. I just looked at the new units and said, yeah, that's probably right-ish.
Like a Lancer went down 10 points from the index release.
Seems unlikely.
Does not seem like they're going to be at 135.
We're just assuming everything in the balance data slate and Munitorum field manual is up to date. And then when we physically release this book, or when GW does, I should say, then GW is going to just put like a little update in the MFM and say, cool, this is now the points cost when you remove Land Speeders and Thunderfires and add Assault Intercessors.
Yes. So the way it's worded is you are allowed to agree with your opponent to use these points costs.
Otherwise, use the MFM.
Otherwise, use the Minotaur Field Manual.
So you could ask your opponent if they want 12-point Desolators or whatever it is.
24, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it says points values printed here, which you can always use in agreement with your opponent. This codex is supported with live online points values. Scan this QR code to see the latest point values for your army.
Yep.
So very clear, these are not the points.
Yep, it's not real.
You know, I mean, it's nice to look at.
It's nice to look at.
It's, you know.
But that is the Space Marine Codex. 7 detachments. One of them is the same. Losing Oath is a big change, but now a lot more build diversity.
I kind of wish that instead of just cutting Oath in half and leaving us with the worst half, I wish they had just changed it. Like, I wish it had just been a different thing.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, the comparison is going to feel bad for the next month or two.
Yes.
So we're just going to be thinking like, back in my day, I rerolled wounds with my Stern Guard and shot twice.
But in 6 months, we're going to have the conversation where we go like, oh man, can you believe we used to be able to reroll wounds with Oath? What the hell?
Yeah, like, wow, that was... Like, when Space Marines are inevitably still a perfectly fine army in a couple months, we're going to be like, wow, if I could reroll wounds.
I do like the fact this seems more balanced around making your army good at dealing with opposing armies across the board, rather than just saying, you can kill one thing a turn, have fun with that.
Yeah, I love a lot of the flavor they've added here. I do think that a couple of these attachments are going to be very rarely taken. I think a couple of them are pretty good. I don't think it's immediately obvious who the absolute tip top is, which is good.
I think it's got to be somewhere between... I think there are 4 contenders. 3 contenders, one, like...
Maybe.
The Raven Guard one is sweet.
It's sweet.
It's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The Gladius might still be the best.
It really might be. It's still very good.
It's still incredible. We've got the Salamanders one, and then we got the Iron Hands one.
Those are the 4 that I am interested in. I think the other ones... I want to play some games with Stormblade.
The Stormlance...
It's cool.
...is good for Space Wolves.
Yes.
And I think that's fine. I don't think it's too strong. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yep. Other than that, though, the other detachments, the Imperial Fist one, the First Company one, those ones don't interest me very much.
No, not so much.
And I think that by the time we've had a couple months of gameplay, this codex is going to be boiled down to a couple detachments at most. And I think people will very quick... I think when it comes out, people are just going to play every type of detachment in the world. Yes. And then very quickly, we're going to narrow down to a top 2 or 3.
We're going to have some people post in Warhammer Warhammer Competitive about how the Imperial Fist one is by far the best attachment, and then they show their table with pictures, and it's Planet Bowling Ball.
Yeah, that is what I would take on Planet Bowling Ball.
Yeah, that would make sense. Somehow, I think Imperial Fists are actually still the worst Space Marine chapter. I'm so sorry.
They might be. They're very good at the thing that they do, but that is just not a thing I want to be doing right now.
Yeah. Somehow, it's weird, right? The standing still and just holding your ground faction without moving continues to be the worst one. It's so odd, actually.
Yeah, and maybe we'll put them in a Death Guard on stream.
Death Guard, you just point your units at Death Guard and you're like, hey, you can take a movement phase. It won't get you out of my line of sight, though. You move forward.
Oh, no.
Wait, you pair them with Thunderfire cannons.
These don't exist.
Really?
Nope, no Thunderfires in that book.
Okay, well, you pair them with Thunderfire cannons, your opponent calls you a cheater.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so that is the end. That's it. That's the Space Marine Codex. So, that wraps us up. Overall, very hard to put a tier on this because Space Marines are so diverse and have so much. The new datasheets aren't making much impact at all.
No.
The veterans are cool.
The command squad, I think, is actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is quite a well-done unit. I think it is a unit that is decent for its stats. It's kind of decent at doing 50 different things.
Yeah, but it's not defining any matchups here.
It certainly isn't.
No. Assault Intercessors do not look anything different than Assault Marines. They're probably slightly worse because they don't get 1 free Eviscerator and Charge Mortals.
Yes. As many Charge Mortals. I do think the Company Heroes is going to be a unit where you're going to come back to me after playing 3 games with it and be like, damn, this unit's actually kind of like been the best unit so far.
That and Vulcan is like my game plan.
Yeah.
I'm already on board with Vulcan in that unit, making the Land Raider Redeemers reroll wounds. Whoosh, whoosh, let's go.
Stern Guard have gotten, like, insanely worse. Like they've gotten nerfed.
Because they're also a dev wound weapon that was relying on Oath.
Yeah.
To really do its thing, and now it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Stern Guard bad now. I'm excited for the Salamanders one. I'm excited to mess around with the Raven Guard one. I'm excited to take my Black Templars and maybe make the mech thing try and work or something like that.
Yeah, the Iron Hand detachment does look very fun.
Yes, and all the Black Templar units that have extra multi-meltas stapled on. Don't hate that.
Don't hate that.
So, I think there's a lot to work with here. I'm excited to go forward with this, and let us know what you think in the comments down below or in the Discord. Just feel free to tag us.
Absolutely. Make sure you like this video, leave a comment, and of course, subscribe. We're going to have a lot more Space Marine content coming up soon. So if you subscribe to the channel, that's the best way to get notified every time we go live. And if you want to see even more Space Marine and Warhammer content, make sure you check out the Art of War War Room. That's right in the link in the description below, thewarroom.vhx.tv. You can get a free 3-day trial there to see what the Worm's all about and just see like the high-end competitive 40k that we're teaching in the Worm and become part of our awesome Discord community. If you want to become your best, the Worm's the way to do it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.